Can the Oklahoma City Thunder bounce back in Game 2 after a brutal loss to the Indiana Pacers, where it felt like the Oklahoma City Thunder had that game, they controlled that game, but if you let Indiana stay within an arm's distance of the lead, they're going to try to get you at some point, and that's what they did to Oklahoma City in Game 1. Stealing it on the road and putting them in prime position to extend this series and maybe even try to give themselves a chance to win it. So we got to talk about the Thunder's ability to be able to go out here, win Game 2. Is it a must win? And, what adjustments need to be made to be able to beat the Pacers? Before we dive into it, though, make sure you guys are joining the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys staying with your predictions of Thunder in 5, or do you think this is going to be a little bit more of an extended series? Because I could definitely see a world where this series goes 7. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, it feels like this is a must win for Game 2. You cannot go down to Indiana down 0-2. You just can't. Indiana is too good of a team. They're going to take advantage of it. And I have said this, I thought even in a 5-game series, it was going to be hard for Oklahoma City to be able to win 2 games in Indiana, but it was a possibility for them to take one of them and end that sucker in 5 at home. And although it's still a possibility for Oklahoma City to win this thing in 5, I definitely think it's going to be a tall task, because now you're asking the Oklahoma City Thunder to win 2 games in Indiana. However, this is a must win, and, we've seen some very big performances from the Thunder and their stars in these bounce-back games. In fact, the Thunder are 4-0 in these playoffs coming off of a loss. Now, on the flip side of that, the Indiana Pacers have closed every series so far with a 2-0 lead. So there is precedence to think here that now that Indiana has stole one on the road, they're going to steal another one on the road against Oklahoma City, because they haven't shown that they can't do it yet. So for the Oklahoma City Thunder, there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made here. Well, I say a lot. They're small adjustments that you can make that could make a world of difference. And I don't think you're going to get the Indiana Pacers in a position again to where they're going to turn the ball over 19 times in the first half and 25 overall times in the game. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have to be better in your transition when you do get those opportunities from Indiana. You can't let Indiana get that feeling of, okay, like, we're going to turn the ball over, but Oklahoma City's not going to be able to do anything with it, right? Because I think in that game, Oklahoma City only had 11 points off of the turnover. So, that was crazy for one, to see the Indiana Pacers turn the ball over the way they did, but then to see Oklahoma City not be able to capitalize on that, that's something that they got to be able to take advantage of. So one of the things that I'm looking for in terms of adjustments here in Game 2 for the Oklahoma City Thunder is I'm looking for a big to be on the court at all times. And I'm not talking like a Jalen Williams or a Kenrich Williams, right? No, I want, if Chet is going to be in the starting lineup, and that's what you're going to do, then when Chet comes off the floor, Isaiah Hartenstein needs to be on the floor, because, you can't be losing the rebounding battle. I think what was it, like 56-39 in Game 1? You can't be letting that happen to you. Additionally, at the same time, and in the same breath, talking about the bigs, if Chet is having another game where he is struggling, maybe you got to roll with Isaiah Hartenstein a little bit more on the floor, because this is why, you went and acquired Isaiah Hartenstein. You acquired him so that you weren't going to have these differences in the rebounding category, and you weren't going to continue to get beat up in the post. And so one of the things that I'm looking at for Oklahoma City here is one, obviously keep a big on the court at all times, but additionally, you got to get Chet involved, and Chet has to play better, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because that's what we've expected from him, and that's what you want from Chet game in and game out. He's got to be a guy that can, get those blocks down in the paint, but at the same time, Chet's got to be a guy that can be a consistent rebounder for you. And just overall in Game 1, it did not feel like Chet had a very good presence, and so I think there's a lot that the team can do to be able to get Chet involved. One of the things that you saw in Game 1 was SGA really tried to get his rhythm in. He really tried to make it to where, he was going, but I think in turn it took away shots from other role players. And then, you had guys like a JDub and a Chet who were now forcing their own shots, and then you see them ended up struggling versus the Thunder playing this natural, way that you've seen all season where guys, they get these role players involved, and these guys are getting hot, and it allows SGA and JDub and Chet to kind of freely move a little bit more and get those open shots. So that's kind of what you're looking for, right? You need Chet to be involved in the assist category. You need to be involved on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, you need Chet to go out there and try to get you 12 or more points. I think when Oklahoma City has Chet score 12 or more points, JDub score like 20, 25, and SGA scores over 30. I don't know if there's a single team in the league that can beat that when that happens. And so, the other thing that I wanted to see an adjustment for is from JDub himself. So we talked about Chet struggles, and JDub, I think he had like 17 points in game one, but it really wasn't super efficient. And so you got to look at JDub and you got to say, hey, like, we need you to have a big night. We need you to really come out the gates and figure out how to be hot. And so, you look at JDub and you look at, what Oklahoma City needs to do to get him involved. Like SGA needs to definitely look his way a little bit more and try to get him involved, because he's going to be crucial. Like if he can get you 20, 25 points in that game and SGA does what he does and gets you like 35 or more points, it's going to be pretty hard for the Indiana Pacers to match that, because just like in game one, you saw the Indiana Pacers didn't have a guy over 20 points. So I think it was Pascal Siakam led the Indiana Pacers in scoring with 19. Now, I think everybody outside of one guy that played scored over 10 points, but it's going to be hard for the Indiana Pacers to match you on that level in terms of having a guy that can go out there and match, Oklahoma's two stars in the points distribution space. But then you got to look at it for Oklahoma City, and, they just got to play their game. At the end of the day, you looked at game one, and Oklahoma City did not play as smooth as I thought they have in the past. Like it just felt like they were off. And I'm not going to say the moment was too big for them, but it definitely, like, you could see kind of the youth and the inexperience there. And when you have a lead on Indiana, you cannot let up on that lead at all. You have to keep your foot on the gas. You have to keep your foot on their necks, because the moment you let up, I don't care what kind of lead you have, 20, 25 points, really, I don't think any lead is safe against Indiana. They have shown time and time again that they are a clutch team. They are a team that can continue to come back from deficits. And so if you're Oklahoma City, you really have to do everything you can to maybe keep those starters on the court at all times, or keep a good rotation of them, just so that you can keep Indiana far enough away from the lead that, they don't do what they did to you in game one, because they've been able to do that to everybody else in the entire playoffs. So it's going to be a great game two. There are definitely some adjustments that Mark and the team need to be able to make. You would imagine having a couple days off that, they were going to be able to make those adjustments. I saw ESPN put up a stat, and it was the best win percentage following a loss in a season. The Oklahoma City Thunder were at a .889 win percentage following a loss in a season. They're 16-2. The only team that did not win a title were the 75-76 Warriors, who had a .893% win percentage and were 25-3. Everybody else has won a championship in that list. The Thunder are 4-0 this postseason. So I want to hear from y'all. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below and let me know what you guys think about game two. Is this a must win for Oklahoma City? And I would love to see your guys' score predictions.